Good day everyone, we are the Group 4 and we'll be tackling about Module 10 which is about Kohlberg stages of moral development. In this report, we will be guided on acquiring knowledge about the learner's moral development that will help us better understand how their moral reasoning develops and how to effectively guide them develop moral character or behavior. This also includes Kohlberg's theory of moral development and its application in everyday life. Lawrence Kohlberg's significant contribution to education was the use of moral dilemmas or case study in teaching and learning process. He expanded Piaget's concepts of moral development through use of surveys as his research methodology, where he presented the respondents with moral dilemmas and analyzed the differences in response of children, youths, and adults at various ages. So what is this moral dilemma presented by Lawrence Kohlberg to his respondents? Moral dilemma is a situation in which the decision maker must consider two or more moral values or duties but can only honor one of them. Thus, the individual will violate at least one important moral concern regardless of the decision. An example of moral dilemma is having to choose between saving a dog from a fire or saving your sister. As the time passes by, our morality develops, and this is so-called moral development. Moral development refers to the changes in moral beliefs as a person grows older and gains maturity. And this means that it is the way we distinguish right from wrong as we grow and mature. On the other hand, our morality protects life and is respectful of others, all others. Think about your behavior as a grown-up person. How did you decide if something was right or wrong, or good or bad? Did you follow what your parents did? Did you copy the behavior of your friends? At one time or another, you probably did both. When were you able to decide for yourself? What was right? What was wrong? Do you currently base your decisions on societal or cultural laws? For example, is it wrong to steal because the law says it is wrong? Do you ever feel that morally correct decisions conflicts with the law? Let's just say that your mother is dying and needs a specific medicine to be cured, and that medicine costs a lot of money to spend, and you and your mother do not have one. Would it be okay to steal the medicine to save her life? These are the types of questions that Lawrence Kohlberg asked while studying moral development in human beings. Lawrence Kohlberg, building upon Jean Piaget's cognitive theory of development, developed three levels with 6 stages to reflect our progression through moral development. These levels and stages described how our ideas of right and wrong change as we grow. However, Kohlberg did admit that not all people progress through these changes at the same age due to the differences in cognitive functioning. In fact, he stated that some people never reach full moral development. So here is the summary of Kohlberg's stages of moral development. The first level of Kohlberg's theory is the pre-conventional level of moral development. This level of development has 2 stages and is based on punishments and rewards. Rules are truly external to self rather than internalized. Morality is self-serving. In other words, people who are functioning at the pre-conventional level of development make decisions on right and wrong to earn rewards and avoid punishments. Stage 1. Punishment or obedience orientation. The goodness or badness of an act depends on its consequences. Stage 1 is all about the rules. Moral decisions are based on either being good or following the rules, or being bad by breaking them. For example, a child may think, I don't want to be spanked, so I am not going to hit my brother. Stage 2, naive hedonism, or instrumental exchange, conforms to rules in order to gain rewards or satisfy personal objectives or needs. Behavior is ultimately motivated by the hope of benefiting in return. Stage 2 is all about self-reward. Moral decisions in this stage are based on getting a reward that is personally meaningful. For example, a child may think, I want dessert, so I will eat all of my veggies.
Now I'm discussing you the summary of moral development of Kohlberg's theory. So before we start, let's define first what is morality. Morality means principles concerning the distinction between right and wrong or good and bad behavior. So we all know that there are many people in this world that has different ideas in what is right and what is wrong. So, ibig sabihin, minsan yung akala nating tama para sa atin ay mali para sa iba. And that area could a little bit difficult. However, there are a number of universal principles that the vast majority people left by and accept on what is right and what is wrong. See for example, ang pumatay ng tao. That was a heinous crime, right? And of course, almost of us or all of us was agreed on it. Dahil alam naman natin na hindi tamang gawain ang pagpatay ng tao. So, that was an example of an universal principle of what is right and what is wrong. So, there is a famous psychologist named Lawrence Kohlberg, born on October 25, 1927 in Brownsville, New York. He had this study and expanded on the earlier work of cognitive theorist of Jean Piaget to explain the moral development of children, which he believed follows a series of stages. So, ang ginawa niya, meron siyang ginawang test when he was reasoning in terms of moral development. So, ano yung ginamit niya? He called it the Heinz Dilemma. Now, I want to tell you about the Heinz Dilemma so that we can understand where Kohlberg got his research from. Heinz's wife was near to death from a special kind of cancer. There was one drug that the doctor thought may save her. It was a form of radium that the druggist in the same town has recently discovered. The drug was too expensive, and Heinz can't afford it. That's why he decided to steal the drugs.
Now let's talk about the Kohlberg stages of moral development. Since the first level was already discussed by Miss Chancy, now I'm going to discuss to you the second and third level. Let's start on the conventional level. Obey rules and social norms in order to win others' approval or to maintain social order. Morality is in accordance with what society defines what is right. So, in this level, we focused on the views of other matter. And under the level 2, we have here the stage 3 and stage 4. And the stage 3 is the good boy, good girl orientation. Behavior is that which pleases, helps, or is approved by others. What is right is what expected by people close to oneself and in terms of the stereotypic rules that define being good. So, in the stage 3, people want to be praised and want to be seen as a good boy or nice girl by others. People want to attain good social status and recognition. And the fourth stage was the social order maintaining, where rules and laws maintain a social order and are worth perceiving. What is right is what conforms to the rules of legal authority. So, in the stage 4, people become aware of a wider rules of society and follow the law to avoid guilt. For example, nagda-drive tayo tapos dumating tayo sa traffic light. Tapos nagre-red light. So what were we going to do? 'Di ba magsa-stop tayo? Of course. So that situation would be an example on the social order maintaining. Now let's proceed to level 3, the post-conventional morality. Moral reasoning defines right and wrong in terms of broad principles of justice that could conflict with written laws or with the dictates of authority figures. And under the level 3, we have the stage 5, the social contract orientation. Laws are instrument for expressing the will of the majority and furthering human welfare. So, in this stage, some people think that rules are good for human beings, but sometimes they should be disobeyed depending on the situation. And the stage 6, which is the morality of individual principles of conscience, where right and wrong are defined on the basis of the self-chosen ethical principles of one's own consent. So, therefore, in this stage, people develop their own guidelines and laws, but sometimes these fit to the law of the government, but sometimes do not fit with the laws.
Kohlberg Stage 1 and Early Childhood Education. Most preschool and some kindergarten students are still in the first stage of moral development according to Kohlberg's theory. In this stage, it is important to begin to lay the groundwork to encourage moral behaviors. In stage 1, young children are primarily motivated to behave appropriately simply to avoid being punished for misbehaving. Like for example, ang imuhang anak is nakipagduwa sa iyahang mga friends or iyahang mga classmates, and then di man jud na malikayan nga naiubang mga bata nga di nga masuya or something kanang maibog sa duwaan sa iyahang mga kaduwa. So unsa iyang gibuhat is iyang gikuha ang duwaan sa iyahang kauban or sa iyahang classmates. So, as a parent, dapat you must distinguish that child or that student from what is wrong. So, dapat what you're going to do is imuha siyang istoryahan nga dili maayo iyang gibuhat, and then ingnan siya nga manghulam or manghuwam sa sakto nga pamaagi nga mananghid sa daan sa tag-iya before siya magduwa sa duwaan. By understanding this stage of moral development, teachers can help to guide their students' moral development by setting a code of conduct for the classroom to encourage good behavior. For young children who are still in the stage of moral development, it is important to set clear guidelines for behavior and clear consequences for misbehavior. It is important to stay consistent with the code of conduct and punishment system throughout the school year. For young children, it is important to implement clear punishment such as loss of privileges. For students who break your classroom rules, this could include taking away free choice time for students who break the rules. You can also start to offer rewards for children who follow the rules at this level. So ang teachers, dapat mogamit pud siya og different strategies unsaon nga ang iyahang mga estudyante is mosunod sa iyahang rules. Like for example, dili makagawa sa classroom kung way sinuwat. And then kung kinsa tong naay sinuwat is hatagan nimo og 3 stars. So sa ana pa lang is makaana ng ang imong estudyante nga dapat ko magsulat para makagawas ko unya na ako'y 3 star. And kung nana ko'y 3 star, nana ko'y ikapakita nilang mama and papa. So, it's up to you as a teacher how you use different strategies nga makuha nimo ang atensyon sa imuhang mga students unsaon nimo pagpasunod sa ilaha. And also, you must teach your students distinguish right from wrong.
So, stage 1 tackled by Miss Angeline Pasinasigna. Let's proceed to stage 2. Stage 2 instrumental purpose orientation, which determined again by consequences. The individual focuses on receiving rewards or satisfying personal needs. Like for example, suguon nimo ang bata, din mangutana din ang bata kung unsa ba kay makuha niya or unsay kanang kapalit sa iyang sugo. So, offeran dayon sa mama og kwarta para allowance baron. So, usa pa mosugot ang bata. Mao na nga anay tabo nato sa mga bata karong nga panahon na ug suguon dili na mosugot kung walay kapalit, walay kwarta nga ikahatag nila. Usa pa mo sugot sa sugo kung naay kwarta. Next is early elementary. In this stage, children become motivated and they already follow the rules if there is a reward. Implementing this system, which is giving reward for this age of children or in early elementary, helps the children encourage moral behavior. Early elementary, at this age, children understand already if they punish means their behavior is bad, while if they are rewarded with a teacher means their behavior is good. And in this stage, children begin to learn that different people have different view or point of view and consider best for individuals to be what is right. Also, at this stage, children begin to learn that if we treat others well, they will treat us like we treat them. So, these children already know the good and the bad behavior. To develop their moral reasoning skills, introduce classroom activities that encourage them between students.
Kohlberg Stage 3 and late elementary or middle school. Most children reach 3 between the stages of 10 and 13. In this stage, children begin to think more about the other people around them. They consider how their behavior affects other people and how other people perceive them. At this stage, it also speaks about the social concerns. There are some challenges could be a great help to develop their social development and adjusting to a new learning in any aspect. Expressing individuality, dealing with social pressure, and communicating with teachers, friends, and coaches. At this stage, you can help to strengthen your students' moral character by following them to help you to create a code of conduct for the classroom. This lets the student be partially responsible for the rules which they expected to be followed. In this stage, they will develop their values, being good by following the rules. Moral development, which you change your moral values being good by following the rules and be responsible. At this stage, you can help to strengthen your students' moral character by allowing them to help you to create a code of conduct for the classroom. Lets the student be partially responsible for the rules which they expected to be followed. This is where they develop their moral character. Start for being good by following the rules. The next one, student may start to become unwilling to blindly follow rules if they don't understand the reasoning behind them. They will be cautious or become wary because they don't think or understand the rules and also think if it's bad or good. Students begin to think more about how actions affect others because the way they behave and show their attitude. As for teachers, it is also important to introduce activities and assignments that encourage students to work together toward a common goal to further strengthen your students' moral character. Older students begin to reach 4 by the time they reach the end of middle school or beginning to finish high school. Allow ample time for group projects and activities that give students at different stages of development and the opportunity to work together and to learn how their behavior affects others in social contexts. that is developmentally appropriate, but they still need your help support socially, emotionally, and academically.